I don't think I need to be the one to break the news that DC Gaming, as of right now at least, isn't doing too hot. With Gotham Knights releasing back in 2022 with meddling reviews and even worse hype behind it, it was no surprise that that game came and went as quickly as it did. The team took too long between Arkham Origins, and from all the behind the scenes talk, it looked like that game wasn't looking like it was going to be a hit, unfortunately. However, there was one game that a lot of us were still holding on to for reassurance, one game that was being developed by one of the best, if not the best, gaming studios of all time. Yes, I'm obviously talking about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and yes, I'm obviously talking about Rocksteady Studios. From the Arkham series that went on to gain critical and financial success, we all had hope that Rocksteady would deliver quality. Even with the news that the game was about us playing as a Suicide Squad instead of the Justice League, and even with the rumors of it potentially being live service. Most of us had some hope that they can revolutionize the games as a service model that so many studios, so many well-acclaimed and revered studios like BioWare, like Crystal Dynamics, studios that came from the well-crafted, narrative-driven and high-quality games that were stretched thin into making games that they weren't prepared for. We all thought that maybe Rocksteady can be that studio to elevate the live service genre like how they elevated the superhero gaming genre. Well, we're nearly a few months into the game being released, and it hasn't sold as well as Warner Brothers have wanted. It looks like the game has already lost all its steam, as I don't see it being talked about nearly as well as it did a few weeks back. Not to mention WB themselves even called their sales figures for the game disappointing. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, where the grass seems to be getting greener by the day, Marvel looks to be expanding and revealing new updates and announcements for their gaming division. Spider-Man 2 finally got the long-awaited update that fans have been drooling over for the past 6 months now, with new time of day, new game plus, bug fixes, and even a new updated Raimi suit which looks more accurate to the movies. Plus, the announcement of Marvel 1943, which looked to have garnered widespread attention from not just the comic book fans, but the entire gaming medium, with how realistic the graphics look and by how surprisingly engaging and almost refreshing the game looks to be like. I'm serious, 1943 looks to be the most refreshing thing I've seen any comic book adaptation do with the world in a long time. Using the Marvel Universe as a playground and creating a deep look into the clash of nations between the United States and the Wakandans almost feels like it's a story that belongs in an Academy Award nominated produced film. The writing based on the trailer is on point, and even the acting is some of the best I've seen in a superhero game, even better than Arkham and Spider-Man at some points. Honestly, if the gameplay is as good as the graphics and writing is shown in the trailer, we could be seeing the new best superhero game ever made here. It looks that good in my opinion. As of the recording of this video, Marvel even announced a new game called Marvel Rivals, and it looks to be like an Overwatch ripoff, but it looks promising. And yeah, it looks very fun, so I don't know, it could be good, who knows. So the reason why I bring up Marvel is to simply show how staggering the difference is when it comes to public reception in Marvel's favor, especially when a decade ago, it was the complete opposite. Sure, Marvel had their issues getting their gaming division to where they are now, but it looks like Marvel's finally taking their strive to greater heights with consistent quality games, releasing and being developed as we speak. That being said, there is one DC game on the horizon which is being developed by a promising studio and looks to be taking more of a narrative-driven approach to their project. Wonder Woman is the next game in the DC library, and while it's exciting to see WB go in a more traditional direction this time around, we have no idea how far into development they are or when the game's even going to be released, because the last time they've revealed any information about that game was back in 2021. We have gotten no trailers or updates since then, that I wouldn't even be surprised if some of you even forgot that game existed. This leaves me with the question, what the hell is going on with DC games now? I think their biggest issue now is one that was actually one of the biggest strengths a decade ago. You see, back around the time of the Arkham games being at the height of their popularity, WB was solely making games in-house, which has advantages like quality control and making sure that the games being developed are using the tech that WB games can share and build together. At the time, that was what made their games great. However, now it's become a disadvantage because of the amount of time it's taken to develop these games and how notoriously long we have to wait for them. And because they only have a limited amount of studios and budget for those studios, priorities would need to be taken in order to get the best return on investment so that they can earn money. That's the reason why all we've been getting are either Batman games or Batman adjacent games for so long. It's also the reason why Wonder Woman is finally getting a game now and not 20 years ago, because the character just isn't seen as a priority for them. It's also the reason why Superman hasn't had a game since the PS2 days. It is why they're so hell-bent on making their live service games work, because as much as live service games fail, When they succeed, they become some of the biggest games in the market and can result in years of endless cash flow for a studio. Disney took the risky approach by dissolving their gaming division and selling off their studios in order to license their games to multiple third-party developers and have them making games for them. Fun fact, by the way, one of the studios that Disney sold off was Avalanche Software, who ended up getting bought by WB Games and ended up developing Hogwarts Legacy. This approach to go and license their games to other studios managed to help Marvel games tremendously, because look at all their success so far. Multiple games are being developed, some of them are Game of the Year contenders, and while some haven't done great commercially, they went on to gain a cult following. The only failure that they've had was Avengers, but it looks like they've learned a lesson from that and look to improve further on presenting a higher bar for quality in the future. I just hope DC takes those lessons from Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights and manage to get out of their slump, because they obviously have the IPs to make high quality video games like they have done before. Well, that's for the video, guys. Please let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree? Disagree? Do you think this new Wonder Woman game will be the lifeline that DC games need? Or do you think there's another hero that deserves a game more? Please let me know in the comments, and thank you guys so much for watching. Also, Marvel Rise of the Imperfects is one of the best video games of all time. That's it. Bye.
Look who just sprayed you with a can of whoop ass.